All right, man. It's one of our last meetings. Okay, we'll have another quick one Tuesday, but yeah, man, that'll be it. So say your goodbyes. Okay, maybe you guys will see each other again though in 15. All right. If you're ever on the Southfield campus, I'm not hard to find. Okay. So the practice assessment. Okay. I know a few of them, well, they aren't due until like 6 minutes ago. But if you need to keep working, keep going. But all right. Now in the week 11 module, there's some supporting material that I have just made visible to you all. And we'll go over that now. And you can also use this material, when you do your final assessment. Just don't, just don't just copy the stuff. Okay. And when I was talking about the assessment Tuesday or the evaluation on Tuesday, one thing I neglected to mention, or even maybe I did mention it in this class and just not my other class, but if your impromptu is plagiarized, there it's pretty much a guarantee that they're going to fail you. All right. So don't plagiarize. And there's not going to be time for you to make it right. So I will have the assignment folder set up to where you can see your own turn it in percentage. But yeah, definitely try to keep your final assessment under 20%. 15 if you can get it there though. Between 10 and 15%. All right. Now, okay. Your real final assessment. I will post it. What's today? Thursday. Yeah, I'll post it tonight. I'll post it tonight, and then you'll have until this following Thursday to get it done. Okay, we can still have a quick meeting Tuesday, even though I'm not really supposed to answer your questions about this stuff. But it'll be posted tonight, and you'll have a week to get it done. Okay. Actually, this class officially ends. Yeah, I can do Friday for the due date. Okay, that's not cutting it too close because I'll still have the weekend. Oh yeah. So yeah, I'll make sure I put the due date on the assignment folder though. Now, get it done, man. Final assessment. If you don't do the final assessment, there is no way you can pass this class. All right. And that's, departmental guidelines. So if you're nervous, if you tense up, fine, but do it anyway. Okay, do it anyway, because again, like I said, if you do not do this, there's no additional time that I can give you. And then, I gotta put something in for that. So that's not a good situation. So make sure you get it done, man. Make sure you get it done. Okay. Take your time. Okay. Take your time. And okay, like I said, right? Um, you know, what you did for the practice could be very similar to what you do for the real thing. Okay. It's very possible. Okay. Very possible. All right. That, the Jim Crow era might come up again. Um, not timed in a way that you have 2 hours and 45 minutes, definitely, but timed in that, there's a due date Friday. So it's not going to be the same as it would be face to face. Okay. But the process is the same, read that article, take some notes, okay, get some brainstorming in, get some points down. All right, some bullet points down. And then put it together. Okay. Yep. Definitely don't over quote it, John. Absolutely. And make sure like the majority of the wording in there is your own original words, and then use the quotes to support points. I'm about to show you guys some examples in a minute, and you have access to these examples. You can use them. You can have them out. When you're doing your own assessment. But again, I caution you against maybe Kristen. Okay. That's something we can't share, but it's very possible. Okay. Very possible that it could be the same. All right. I can't say for sure though, but it's possible. It's within the realm of possibility. Okay. Very possible. I mentioned it was possible. All right. Okay. Now, I can tell you this though. It'll be a different article. All right. But perhaps it's on the same subject. Okay. Maybe. All right. So now, good people though. Just like I was saying before, when you guys did the practice, first thing you got to do, okay, read the directions. Everything you need to know as far as like the length, what you're writing about, how you're going to be evaluated, all that's in there. Okay. So make sure you read that first before, or what I'm saying is make sure you have an understanding of what you're being asked to do. Okay. You know, you got to read and annotate the article, but as far as the essay is concerned, make sure you understand you know, your job. Remember, we went over that evaluation sheet. The first category was what? Response to the prompt. All right. That means you did what you were asked to do. And then after that, it's organization. Okay. Do you mean Saba, you'll be making another comparison? You'll be making a comparison between the book and the article for your final assessment. Okay. So yeah, if you want, if yeah, and you know you will be, you know, analyzing. All right. But you know, you'll just be asked to compare this to that. And you know that this is born a crime and that, you know, might have something to do with Jim Crow. Yeah. Now, all right, here's two things you got. Okay, let me go back. Let me go to screen share. Okay. If you look in the week 11 module, this has been made visible now. It wasn't visible to you guys last week, but let's look at the impromptu guide. Okay. Now I'm gonna get out of dark mode because I want you all to see like the highlighted stuff. Okay. There's nothing highlighted, of course. Oh, here's some. All right. Okay. Now, okay. And let me get this other one open too. There's impromptu tips. And remember, folks, you can have both of these out, you know, when you're doing your essay. If you just need a reminder about certain things. Like this, you know, how to annotate. We've covered this ground before. All right. And I mentioned we got our last book in there, Kills of the Flower Moon, but the principles are still the same. All right. But if we come down here, right, here's some notes about your intro. Okay. Remember, attention grabber, background, title, and author. Now you need the title and author of both sources for your final assessment, and then your thesis statement. Okay. Attention grabber, background, title, author, thesis statement. If you have those elements in your introduction, you're fine. Don't go like Patricia and all that should not be the first words of your essay because your reader's not going to know who Patricia is. Start with an attention grabber. What do both of these sources have in common? They're both about oppression, right? Legalized systems of oppression. So maybe your first line is about that. Okay. You're not even mentioning the book and the author just yet because your first line is the attention grabber. All right. So let's look. Okay. Bam. Oppression in its many forms has been around for much of recorded history. You don't need much more than that. Because again, even though they aren't like timed like they would be in a classroom, but we also don't want you, you know, racking your brain trying to get started. Okay. So you don't need like some like really quote unquote deep attention grabber. Just remember for your comment essay how you started general. and then got more specific as you built up to your thesis statement. Okay, and these practice paragraphs, they use the same material that you all have for your practice. Okay, so oppression in its many forms. Let me do something real quick. There we go. I forget about you, Robin. Oppression in its many forms has been around for much of recorded history. No, only use quotes from the article you are given and the textbook. That is very important. Do not use any sources other than your textbook and the art, not other than Born to Crime and the article. You don't need to consult any sources. All right. So please do not look at any other sources besides what has been given unto you. Okay. Generations of one group dominating others is part of the human story. Again, just general reflection on oppression, because that's what these things, the Jim Crow era and apartheid, that's what they have in common. That's the thread that ties them. Okay. In recent history, South Africa has experienced its own brand of oppression, apartheid. Now we're getting more specific, right? Apartheid was a legal system of segregation and oppression that kept whites on top of the social order, blacks on the bottom. Okay, that's it. You don't need to give like an extensive history of apartheid. Okay, that's not your job in this paper. Okay, decades before apartheid divided South Africa, the US had developed a system of oppression to keep blacks down and out. Following emancipation, Jim Crow laws served the same purpose as South African apartheid. Okay, that's all you need to say about Jim Crow. And as you can see, I'm only a few sentences in. Attention grabber. Here's some background. Now, what else do we need to do? Title and author of each source. Trevor Noah's Born to Crime details the struggles endured by blacks living under apartheid in South Africa, while David Pilgrim's What Was Jim Crow discusses how Jim Crow affected the lives of blacks in the US. Title and author. Title and author. Very, very, very brief summary. Okay, like not even a full sentence for each. All right, you don't have to. You don't, now with this essay, you don't got to focus on Patricia, because that's not what this essay is about. Okay, you can mention Patricia, of course, but as far as like being a central figure in your essay, maybe not. Okay, but that's really up to you. You know, if you can use that as an example, you know, that fits the prompt, do it, but you don't have to. Okay. We need. No, not, you know, Stephanie, for this essay, because we know you all are going to be pressing for time, you can just Born a Crime, and really, like after you write Born a Crime, you can write it like this. Okay, first time you will write it, I just put the author too. Also, folks, you don't have to italicize Trevor Noah, like the author, just the title. I mean in bold. All right, and then like after this first time, you can just put BAC for Born a Crime. That's fine, instead of writing the whole title. Like this, maybe this will be the start of your next paragraph. What's supposed to happen? Okay. Yeah. One day. Hmm. Okay. So maybe this is a topic sentence for one of your paragraphs. Okay. Now, here's the pop quiz, right? if we're using the alternating pattern or an alternating style. If this is the start of one paragraph, how should we start the very next paragraph? In Born in Crime, Noah discusses how apartheid forbade interracial unions. So using the alternating pattern or the alternating logic, what should the next paragraph be about? What do you think? You can shout it out or put it in the chat. If one paragraph, you know, if we have a Born in Crime paragraph discussing how apartheid, you know, for there we go. Yeah, very good. Okay, the article, right? So we're going book, book, article, right? That's going to be your alternating pattern. Okay, and I'll show you what it looks like after we go through this intro. Okay. Attention grabber, background, title, and author of both are mentioned. And then here's the grand finale, right? That thesis statement, main idea. Okay. And if you look at these notes on the side, right? Okay. It just details what all these elements are. So if you click on this caption box, it takes you right to the comment. Okay. And then we get here with our thesis statement. Keeping it simple. Although there are minor differences between Jim Crow and apartheid and Jim Crow, Noah's and Pilgrim's texts both show that these two systems of legalized oppression have much in common. Okay, have much in common. You can name some specific things they have in common, that's fine. But remember, folks, whatever you focus on, whatever your thesis statement says, that's the idea you're locked into, you know, for the essay. Okay, so keep that in mind. Whatever your thesis statement is, that's what you have to talk about in that essay. Okay, like this essay, this thesis statement sets you up, you know, to write about, you know, what Jim Crow and apartheid have in common. Okay. Now, attention grabber, background, title and author, thesis statement. That's your mental checklist, or it's your actual checklist, because you can just go through this thing and like ask yourself, do I have all these elements in my thesis statement, or excuse me, in my intro? Okay. And remember, folks, like I keep saying, you can use this. Okay, you can use this on your assessment. You can have this out. Okay, you have your instructor's permission. All right. Now, let's look at a couple body paragraphs. Okay. Remember, folks, your topic sentences state the main idea of the paragraph. So whatever idea is in that topic sentence, that's what you're locked into for that paragraph. Okay. Apartheid was designed to keep blacks and whites segregated in South Africa. And one of the ways this separation was accomplished was by forbidding interracial relationships. So what did I say to myself? Like, what am I going to discuss in this paragraph? How apartheid forbade interracial relationships. Now I'm going to give an example. I'm going to show my reader how that's true. Okay. And how am I going to show that's true? I'm going to use an example from Born in Crime. One need look no further than the circumstances of Trevor Noah's birth to see how apartheid criminalized intimate relationships between blacks and whites. Okay. He was born in crime, right? Noah, born to a black mother and a white father, was, quote, born in crime because of the strict laws preventing blacks and whites from mingling. Born in Crime begins with the Immorality Act of 1927, a document that made interracial relationships punishable by prison time. Now, I'm going to stop and check my work. Meaning I'm going to go back to my topic sentence. Okay. Am I following through with it? Forbidding interracial relationships. Okay. Check each sentence. Did you go off topic? Okay. Or, you know, pie method, right? This is the point. Here's your information. Follow it up with your explanation. Okay. Noah described, here's our signal phrase, right? Noah describes the dangers that interracial couples faced. The government went to insane lengths, or excuse me, quote. And my signal phrase here ends with a colon because this is a full sentence. Noah describes the dangers that interracial couples faced. But if I was to just go, this would work too, but I would just end with the comma instead of the colon. The government went to insane lengths to try to enforce these new laws. The penalty for breaking them was 5 years in prison. There were whole police squads whose only job was to go around peeking through windows, and if an interracial couple got caught, God help them. Okay, now, okay, we look at this ellipsis, these 3 dots. Okay, if you have a quote that is very long, okay, you can shorten it with the ellipsis. All right. The ellipsis signals to the reader, like, hey, I, the writer, have removed part of this quote. Okay. But here's the rules for using that ellipsis. One, you can't use it to manipulate quotes. Like, you can't, like, this is a quote from page 22, but I can't have a quote that starts on page 22 and then piece it together with a quote, that starts on page 122, just using the ellipsis. Okay. Another catch is you have to take, when you take something out of a quote, you can't take anything out that changes the meaning of that quote. Like the ellipsis, it tells the reader, I shortened this quote, but I did not take out anything important. Okay. Or anything that will alter the meaning of this quote. Okay. So you can't shorten quotes. Now, let's look at some of the side commentary. Okay. Topic sentence states the main idea of the paragraph, right? Stick to this idea. Do not, do not, not put any sentences that do not have a connection to your topic sentence in this paragraph. Now, is, right, the Immorality Act fair? Of course not. Is it right? Of course not. All right. But you don't have to put that in that paragraph. Okay. It really, you have a job, right? You're discussing how apartheid forbade interracial relationships. So stick with that. Like your personal commentary on that or your personal feelings on that, it matters, but it's just not your job in this essay. Okay. And you also don't want to start making the comparison to the US just yet. Okay. Do that in your next paragraph. Okay. So do not put any sentences that do not have a connection to your topic sentence in this paragraph. Remember paragraph unity. Also note that this paragraph only discusses border crime, right? So where's your Jim Crow discussion going to go? In the very next paragraph. Follow it up, that very next paragraph. And another thing, this paragraph uses a concrete example, right? Don't spend all of your paragraph telling your reader that interracial relationships were outlawed in apartheid South Africa. Show them, okay? Show them, right? This is showing them this concrete example, all right? So you can do some telling in your body paragraphs, but you absolutely have to show with a concrete example. Now, all right, quote from the text used as support. Note that the majority of the paragraph uses original wording. Okay, be careful not to overquote in the body paragraph. Okay. Now, boom. Here's my point. Here's my information. Can't forget about the explanation. The circumstances of Noah's birth were criminal, according to apartheid laws. Constant surveillance and the threat of incarceration for racial intermingling held the system of apartheid in place. Okay, again, check your work. Do I have a topic sentence that states the main idea of the paragraph? Check. Do I have a concrete example? Check. Do I have my own follow-up? Check. Okay. Did I go off topic? No. Okay. So you can check that mental box. And if you look back at your cheat sheet here that you can use, okay, bam, right? Paragraphs, body paragraphs must be unified, limited to the general discussion of one idea. Okay. And it's the same with this paragraph. It focused on one idea. Okay. That's it. Each sentence in your paragraph must be related to your topic sentence. Okay. Each sentence must be related to your topic sentence. So no filler statements. All right. Coherence. Okay. Try to have each sentence flowing smoothly into the next. Use transitions and repetition. Repetition doesn't mean like saying the same thing over again, but it just means sometimes you have to repeat key ideas. Okay, and then develop. Okay, fully flesh out your the idea and your topic and flesh it out with an example. Okay, now that's one body paragraph, right? Okay, and remember, folks, I put this on a few common essays too, but never start or end a body paragraph with a quote. Okay, always use your original wording at the beginning or the end. Okay, now let's look at this next body paragraph, right? Similar to apartheid. So we started with the transition that gives you that connection. Even though you're about to discuss something new, it still gives you that connection with, what came before it. Absolutely. The sandwich is great. Okay. The sandwich is great. Okay. And, just remember the bread, right? The bread is using your own, you got to use your own words for your bread. Okay. But that's a good analogy. Okay. Sandwich. Okay. So there's sandwiches, right? There's pie. Okay, there's anything you want. There's the meal analogy, right? There's the appetizers, the entree, and the dessert. Okay, yeah. However you got to frame it. Okay, whatever helps you stay organized, right? The sandwich analogy is very good. Okay, now let's look at this thing, right? We started with a topic sentence that references what came before it, but we're also introducing our new idea. Similar to apartheid, Jim Crow prevented blacks and whites from interacting with one another. Okay, or you can get more specific. Okay, interracial relationships. I think when I was writing this, I didn't want to say interracial relationships again because I felt like I was saying it a lot. Okay, but to be honest though, if I was doing an impromptu that was timed, I wouldn't. I would just be trying to get my ideas out. Okay, because you really don't have time to you can go back and mess with some of the wording, but sometimes you got to just go with your gut, all right, or go with your first mind. Okay, as my mom used to say. Okay, the system of Jim Crow made relationships between blacks and whites a crime punishable by incarceration, even death. Okay, doesn't that sound familiar? Right? Like what we just had. A key difference between apartheid and Jim Crow is both parties in the relationship usually suffered a punishment for intermingling, but in the Jim Crow South, most punishments were leveled at blacks. Okay, and remember in apartheid, like there was a punishment for everybody. Okay, even though the punishment for like blacks is, I think especially black males was a lot more harsh though. Now, about to quote from the text, about to quote from the article again. I'm sorry. In What Was Jim Crow? Dr. David Pilgrim notes, under Jim Crow, any and all sexual relationships between black men and white women was illegal, illicit, socially repugnant, and within the Jim Crow definition of rape. Although only 19.2% of the lynching victims between 1882 and 1951 were even accused of rape, lynch laws often supported on the popular belief that lynchings were necessary to protect white women from black rapists. Okay, it's a bit of a lengthy quote, but just follow it up with your own explanation. Okay. And now, so let's look at the commonality. Okay. This quote, it's about how the law was used to prevent interracial mingling. And this quote is about how the law was used to prevent interracial mingling. Okay. And when I was because I have to read, I have to annotate too. All right, just so I remember stuff. But I remember like in my annotations, I really focused on this quote because I was like, you know what? That sounds just like the Immorality Act. Okay. And then here's our citation, author's last name. No page number, because your article did not have page number, so you don't need to worry about it. Author's last name. Okay. In the Jim Crow system, Black men discovered to have relations with a white woman were accused of rape and often lynched, sometimes publicly. Okay. Man, I just read this book, A Lynching in the Heartland. Okay. It's about a lynching that happened in Indiana. Same principle. There was an accusation, and the same story carried itself out. All right. As both Noah and Pilgrim point out, systems of oppression like apartheid and Jim Crow do not hesitate to use incarceration and violence to keep blacks and whites segregated. Okay. Now, if you're thinking back to our brainstorm sheet that we looked at Tuesday, where I had all those points. All right, I had one about interracial mingling. Now I want to make my next point because I've already covered the banning of interracial relationships in both sources. So now I want to make my next point. All right, let me see if I can bring that thing up real quick. If I have it in mind. Let's see if this is good. Right. Okay. So this was the notes that we took. All right. So, and like I was saying before, as you're doing your brainstorm, you definitely want to come up with more points than this. All right. But this is when you go back to your list. It's like, all right, I covered this already. Okay. What do I want my next two paragraphs to be about? Okay. And really, let's see where we are. Two more points will take you to 3 pages. So if you get like 3 good points and imagine like 2 body paragraphs for each of those points, that should be enough for 3 pages if you're developing your paragraphs, right? So think about when you're doing your annotation, or even when you're done, think about, and like I said, I would actually try to come up with more than you're going to use in your essay. But if you get those points together beforehand, you will really be helping yourself out, because now that you have your points, you can go back to your book, Born to Crime. All right, what's a good quote that represents this point that I'm making? Okay, what's a good example of this point that I'm making? Right, because again, we're showing our reader. We're not just telling them, we're showing them. Okay, so maybe our next paragraph after we went book, article, now we're back in the book. In addition to these aren't fully developed paragraphs. This is just like hypothetically, if we were doing another set. In addition to forbidding interracial relationships, apartheid and Jim Crow affected blacks' opportunity for education. Okay. Or if I just wanted to make this, I could just go apartheid, because this is going to be a Born to Crime paragraph. Okay. Now, paragraph about how apartheid limited, opportunities for education. And then the next paragraph, just like apartheid in South Africa, Jim Crow severely limited blacks' access to education, or Jim Crow, caused people to eat separately, or whatever. People had to worship in different churches or different worshiping spaces. Whatever points you want to make, just remember, for each one of these you come up with, just envision two paragraphs, okay? One that refers to the article and another that refers to the book. And my paper is set up like book, article, book, article, book, article, but you can go article, book, article, book. I just chose that order. Honestly, because I just had my book right there. All right. So now, okay, you can use this. You can use the ideas. Don't copy it though. Okay, don't copy it. In fact, if you copy from this one, your your turn it in percentage is going to go way up, because this has been submitted to D2L, so it's going to register on in your turn it in. I mean, you can use the same quotes, I guess, but make it your own. Make it your own original wording. Okay. And again, right, if we look at some of these, the notes, okay, we use the same thing. We use the same pie method: point, information, explanation, or as Saba told us, right, sandwich. Okay. Our bread is our original wording, our topic sentence, and then our explanation, and then whatever you like on your sandwiches, right? Whatever you like on your sandwiches, man. Okay. That's how you make up your paragraphs. Okay. Food. Yeah, man. Okay. Went to this Haitian restaurant yesterday, man, and plantain sandwich. Okay. I've been thinking about it all day. Okay. Now, after you have your body paragraphs intact, time to wrap it up. Time to wrap it up. Don't say how much you learned about apartheid and about Jim Crow. Okay. Even if you did, that's a great thing, but you don't have a space for that in this essay. Just like in your comment essay, don't say how you like the book or didn't like the book, or how Trevor Noah is a funny comedian and you watch the Daily Show every day. You don't need to say any of that. All that's interesting, but you've been doing good so far with staying on topic. Don't blow it when you get to your conclusion. Okay. Yeah, that's why we're gonna have a short meeting on Tuesday, where I kind of go over it with you guys. I'm gonna read them, and then we can have a discussion about them Tuesday. Yeah. So yeah, you guys will get some feedback. Okay, definitely. All right. Yeah, you're very welcome. Now, wrap it up when you get to your conclusion. Wrap it up. No new ideas in your conclusion. No examples of apartheid, Jim Crow. You did all that in the body of your paragraph. And then, to use Saba's analogy for our entire paper, your entire paper is a sandwich too. Okay, it's your top piece of bread. Okay. You can, Kristen, but if you have one in every body paragraph, don't use like long ones. Okay. But quoting is, just have a good balance of you can definitely have a quote in every paragraph. Okay. Just make sure it's balanced with your own words. Okay. And don't let quotes take up the majority of the real estate on your paper. Okay. But like I said, I'm gonna set up the assignment folder to where you all can see your turn it in percentage again. And with this one, I said when you do a face to face, once you turn it in, it's in. But with this one, if you turn it in and your percentage is a little bit high, submit another one. Submit another one. Okay. So here's our top bun or our top piece of bread. Okay. Or if you like me and you like wraps, okay, this is the part that you fold over. Okay. This is whatever you like in your sandwich. Okay. Make it fancy, man. Put some veggies and stuff on there, man. Okay, don't just have a bare bone sandwich. Okay, nice it up, man. Okay, make it fancy. Okay, 22%. That's borderline, but it's all right because it might have just picked up some stuff. Let me look at it first, Kristen, because it might have picked up your name, and or it could mean that you just may have to flesh out a little bit more with your own person. Yes, I'll reply to your email, Stephanie. Okay. Wrap it up. All right, wrap it up when you get to your conclusion. While it may seem that oppression is human nature, using the law and violence to gain an advantage over a particular group is a choice. Okay, let's look back at our introduction. We'll come a full circle, right? We started out with the reflection on oppression. That's how we're wrapping it up. The desire for power has caused many systems of oppression to be created, and the effects of these systems can often be felt for generations and generations. While South Africa and the US have made some strides in race relations, there is still much work to be done for equality to be fully realized. Trevor Noah's and David Pilgrim's writings serve as reminders of a tragic past that people are in danger of repeating if racism is not addressed in a meaningful way. That's it. Okay, that's it. You out of there. Okay, proofread. Check your work. Does each paragraph have a connection to my thesis statement? Do each of my paragraphs begin with topic sentences? Did I stick to the idea in my topic sentence? Did I avoid going off topic? All right. Do I have little meta commentary in there that I don't need? Meta commentary will be like, this is that wasn't fair, or I was really surprised when X, Y, and Z happened. You don't need any of that for this essay. Okay. Basically, did I get rid of all my filler? Okay, is the question you should ask yourself. Okay, and then in my conclusion, right? Did I avoid introducing new material in my conclusion? All right. Here's some more pointers, folks. Again, for I don't know how many times I've said this, but you can have this out. You can look at this while you're doing your impromptu. Start with an attention grabber. Don't start with have you ever though. And that when you get to English 1510 also and beyond, don't start your essays like that. Okay, have you ever, been walking through the park on a Sunday afternoon? No, man, don't start off like that. And it uses second person point of view. Okay. It's there, Jamie. I'm looking at it right now. Um, try to refresh your page. All right. Get out of there. Get out of there when you're done. Okay. Don't overthink this thing. All right. We've been preparing for this. Okay. Again, folks. Okay. Here's your introduction checklist. Okay. Now, if you look right, provide some background or context. Look here. This is in your intro. This can be accomplished in 2 to 4 sentences, meaning you don't need to go like extensive with the background. It's all right. Just take a deep breath, man. Just take a deep breath. Okay. If you're feeling anxious about this, just trust yourself, man. Fall back on what you've been practicing. Okay. And we've written several essays this semester, multi-drafts, so we've been getting our practice in. All right. So just trust the practice you've been doing. Okay. Worst case scenario, let's say you bomb, right? You got plan B, which is your comment essay. Okay. And again, that's not to say that you shouldn't be giving your best on this thing, but just understand that it's your common essay can be your life preserver. All right. So, and then it's normal to be nervous. Normal to be nervous for an assignment like this. Okay. A little bit of nervousness means that you care. So we're all right. We're all right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We're all right. And then sometimes it helps slow down, take a breath. Slow down, take a breath. I'm so stressed before. All right, you're okay, man. And then it'll all be over next week. Okay, it'll all be over next week. All right, we're okay. Yeah. Use the guide. All right, that's why it's here. Right. Okay. Here's your body paragraph instructions. If you treat this as a checklist, you'll be okay. Okay. Here's your conclusion. Okay. Avoid cliffhangers. Right. If you want to find out what happens, read my next essay. Okay. Nobody in like that. No, yeah. Thank you, Stephanie. You do got it. Okay. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, on the self-assessment, your turning in percentage is going to be high because I've already submitted that document to D2L. And it like I can't switch it off for that assignment and keep it on for the common essay since they use the same folder. So that's fine, Saba. Yeah. And then what I was saying to you, John, it's no need to be afraid. It's just don't look at it as being over. Maybe it was a poor choice of words. Just look at it as like you're leaving one room and going to another room, and that other room is English 1510. Yeah, it's not over. What you guys thought you were done with English after this class? Yeah. No, everyone has to do 1510, no matter what you're going to OCC for. Now, 1520 composition 2, most of you have to take that, but not all of you. Check with your counselor first. Right. Now, a couple things before we wrap it on up. Okay. Thanks, Josh. Checks in the mail. Okay, let me get your cash app. No. All right. No, thank you, man. Thank you. Okay. Appreciate it, man. It's my students. Students make everything possible. All right. Now, okay. And if you guys are wondering, I do write all my own reviews on Rate My Professor. So, spoiler alert. No, I'm just joking. Okay. Now, all right. Okay. So, this is in week 11, right? This handout is in the week 11 module. This is the impromptu guide. And there's one impromptu tips. Okay. Again, like I was saying before, this is about annotation. This is easy stuff we've covered before. And, this is just some basics about MLA, about getting your citations in there. Remember, folks, last name, page number. Don't need any of this, like the comma, the PG, the number sign, don't need any of that. Last name, page number. And then, okay, don't add page numbers for the article. Okay. Here's some signal phrases. Okay, Noah writes. Or, if you don't want to keep saying Noah writes, here's some verbs. And, there's a lot more you can choose from. Okay. And this is just different ways to set up quotes. Okay. Here's the stuff in action. All right. And then here's, okay, intro, body again. Okay. And then here's some tips, but it's just stuff that I've been saying. Organization, intro, body thesis, intro, body conclusion. Okay. Or as Saba told us, right? The sandwich. Okay. 2 pieces of bread. Okay. That's your intro and conclusion. Then whatever you like in your sandwich, that's the body. It's what goes inside. Respond to the prompt. Don't go off on tangents or include your personal experiences. Remember, nobody cares about your beliefs, opinions, or thoughts. Now, of course we do. Of course we care about all that. I just put that in there to get students out of the habit of saying, I believe, in my opinion, or I think. Okay. So just remember, like if you're writing in my opinion, just tell yourself, oh, nobody cares about my opinion. Okay. But of course we do. Of course we do. But your reader, you have to assume that they're going to care about what you can prove or what you can support. Okay. So do what's asked of you. Thesis statement shouldn't be a question. Okay. Shouldn't be an I believe statement. Shouldn't be a quote. Okay. Shouldn't be an announcement in this paper I will discuss. Okay. Shouldn't be any of that. Okay. I learned, I thought, in my opinion, break that habit. Break that habit. And really, whatever you're going to say after, in my opinion, just start with that. Use quotes as support. Okay. Support a point that you're making. But remember, you're making the point. Don't let the quote make the point for you. Okay. Avoid stuff like, this made me mad, or, I thought that was unfair, and all that. Okay. You are. Like, I know we're still practicing that, but, try your best. Try your best. Okay. Proofread, proofread. Don't retell the book. Remember, that's that the like too much summarizing and plagiarizing. Those are two. Though, yeah, it's all bad if you do either one of those. Okay. So don't summarize, and that's different from discussing an example. Okay, like when we when we discuss the Immorality Act. Okay, you're gonna have to give some information about that, but when I say summarizing, like retelling the entire book, because a lot of that doesn't have to do with anything to do with our prompt. And really, when you guys get to 1510, there, summary is always involved to an extent, but we want our students to understand that there's a difference between being asked to summarize and being asked to respond. Okay. Or being asked to analyze. All right. So don't summarize. Summarization is a valuable skill, but it's not one that you'll use a ton in English 1510. Don't retell the book. Oh, I'll put this on some common essays too. Minimize wordiness by eliminating unnecessary details. Remember that question, folks. What does my reader need to know? What do they need to know? Okay. Now, good people, My kind souls of English 1060. Okay. Here are the documents we were just looking at. These two, the guide and the tips. When I post the final assessment, I'm gonna give it its own module and I'll put it at the top so you can see it like right when you first log in. All right. It'll even be on top of a course overview. Um, Another thing about this, when did I say I was gonna post it? Tonight? Okay. Let's go tomorrow so you have a full week, like from Friday to Friday. All right. And then we'll still have a quick meeting on Tuesday though, where we talk about these assessments that were submitted already. Okay. And I'm posting the article Friday, right? So when we have our session Tuesday, um, you want to show me your brainstorm or you want to just kick around some ideas, you can say, hey, Norwood, here's what I'm thinking about for my thesis statement. Okay, we can have that discussion if you want. All right. But Tuesday is probably going to be we'll be communicating through D2L and email after Tuesday session. Okay. So show up. All right. Well, if you have questions or you need like some last second guidance. Okay. And then finally get your common essay in. Okay. The final draft. Right. And folks, here's the thing about 1060, and I've taught this class a long time, we'll say. 10 plus years. All right. And in my experience teaching this class, students who stick it out to the end usually pass. I'm not saying all the time, and I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I'm saying that's how it usually plays out. Okay, students who stick it out to the end and do their work, do the practices, usually make it over the hump because skills we love, but some of us we also take like work ethic into consideration. Like sometimes a student will kind of be on the borderline and a reviewer will ask me, is like, well, what do you think about this student in 1510? And I will probably say, they still have some skills to work on, but I know that student is going to put in the work they need, and I know they're going to get additional help when they need it. Okay. So nobody's expecting you to write a flawless, nobody's ever expecting you to write that, but especially for this final assessment, like I said, Tuesday, we look at these as rough drafts. Okay. So, I'm not putting any pressure on you. So, don't overwhelm yourself with, self induced pressure. Okay. And again, that's not to say you shouldn't try your best to write an organized essay. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's just, we're looking for, a certain skill set to be emerging. And the most important of those skills is organization. Okay. We can work with you on the rest of that stuff. Okay. And even if you're showing signs of organization, right? Okay. So you guys are all right, man. You guys are all right. Okay. I know it's hard to sign in every couple of days or every 2 times a week at 6 o'clock. Okay. It's been a stormy summer. Okay. Everybody's power been going off, on and off, mine included. Okay. I think it went out for a little bit that time it rained because when I woke up, my microwave was flashing. Yeah. So yeah, I know it's been a topsy-turvy summer. So let's just finish strong. Okay, finish strong, and then oh yeah, you guys, you still got a little bit of summer left to enjoy after this class. Okay.